every single thing that you see or hear or taste or touch is inside. All impressions that you think they are out there, they impress you because they are in. Awareness is inside, so what you are aware of is also inside. It's hard to explain. You must try to visualize it. For instance, you see flowers. When you are young, a child, you see the rose and the thorns, and you know that that hurts, so you pass, you walk away from it. And now, after long experiencing trouble and things, you are transformed, so you don't, after that time, you don't see the thorns anymore, you only appreciate the rose. And the thorns, yeah, well, they need to be there, but they hardly show. You see the beauty of the rose. And much more experiences later, years of being aware of things and consciousness growing, opening up, you don't see the rose as a rose, you see it as the gift of God, an expression of His beauty, of the light that He is. And this is all inside you because you are the one seeing it. You have the impression of the rose with the thorns that hurt, and then you see the beauty of the rose. And when you're old and wise, you don't see the rose anymore. Yeah, of course you see, you know it's a rose, it's a flower, but you see it as a gift of God, of the totality of being, pouring its light and the expression of this gift of beauty, of this God being, this consciousness. So you raise from a child with fear and pain and hurt things, you rise to an adult with other view, you see things different, and then it goes on and on and on till you see only the beauty of the life giver, that inside you, which is light showering over all. Then you see light everywhere. Even the thorns are in light because they made you understand that you could grow over the pain. It's difficult to find the right words, but I think it is clear that the pain that you had is a gift of God, because He makes you grow over it. And then there's nothing left but light. And there can still be pain inside of the family that you see, your children, you see them struggle and busy with the thorns, the difficulties in life, and leave them also for this road they have to make, this journey. They also will see the thorns, and then they see the rose, and then they will see the beauty of God inside of them. They too will transform. You can help them, but they have to do it themselves. You cannot take that away from them. It's their right to grow to the light. And all this is happening inside your awareness. There's only awareness. Whatever you see, it's your own light falling on objects transformed and seeing that it is only your own light. It's the God inside you, making all things beautiful. Be blessed, be blessed. Everything that's visible and so, it is inside. It's you are aware, and that's all you need to know. You are the one awareness which beholds all existence, being. You are the being, and what we do, we throw our consciousness out, and in existence, what happens is existence, and in X is out, entrance, and X going out. Existence, and is from being, from isness. So existence is your beingness outside, outwards. You lose your consciousness, your beingness, your isness, X out. This means that all that you are aware of, you see it as there, at a distance. But it is your own being that makes a place available for all that exists. X is out, it's outside. And when we see that clearly, we are so home in our own beingness. All that seems out is in you, because that is impossible when you see something that it is not inside your vision. And when you hear something, how can you hear music if it is not in you? So it is inside, all is in you. How can you taste chocolate when the chocolate is over there and the taste of the chocolate is over there, the sweetness, and you could not taste it if it wasn't in you. All is inside of you. That makes you so great, because you are the only one beingness where all takes place. You are so great. You have place for all that appears. It appears. It is not even real. It seems to be. It appears like that, and it disappears when there is another object or form or whatever you have your consciousness or your attention on. It's always you go out yourself in existence. X is, and one moment you realize, it was always me. I was the only one. I am the only one of all forms that I have been living in and still am living in. I'm present. I am present in all forms that I create by myself. It is my mind that creates all existence. It's outside of me. My mind is outside of me, pointed there. Why? It likes it. It wants to be important and important, bringing porter, to bring. It wants to make impressions, and it wants to be there. The mind needs to go out, but after a long time and a lot of trouble and a lot of suffer, you will see it was only my mind that created all this. And now I am not going out anymore with my mind. Leave the mind, let it do whatever it likes to see or think or experience. It is all appearances, and I am this great being, everlasting, aware of all that pops up. This has to be repeated so often before it settles. And all kinds of words are possible to explain and to point. A million ways of possibility to explain that you just stay inside and what you think is out of you. All is there, but it is in you, because all what is there is in. And repeat, and then same like you are born as a woman and your name is Mary. You do all things in your life, and there is not a single moment that you need to remember yourself. Oh yes, I am Mary, woman. It's obvious because you are that. Well, it is obvious that you are being this. You don't, after a while, you don't need to repeat to yourself, I am all that is, I am awareness, because it is obvious. You are all that is in your own awareness. It has no name, it's awareness, and whatever appears, it's just, it comes and goes. You don't need to do a lot of practice to remember and to feel it, the value and the truth, and then it takes over. It cannot touch you anymore. It still appears, but it's just like the book on the table. Yes, I know it. It doesn't touch me, the book. I have read the book. Okay. It was just a book. It was just a dream. This life is just a dream of your own beingness. I hope it will make it clear and clearer all the time you repeat what you are. It's simple story, our existence. X is, it comes out. It is outstanding, but it's not true. It's fantasy. If you like the same way, when the writer takes his pen, something appears which didn't exist before. The whole story comes out of the pen of the writer. But the writer himself is also a story coming out of this great beingness to exist. The writer steps out of beingness. And you too, and me too, And whatever is born in existence, it is the fantasy of the same writer writing this book. All this is a book, a story. And in fact, you are the writer, the one making it up, but you also made up this body form, this human form. Like all forms you see, the animals and the nature, all together in one fantasy. It's coming out of the pen of the designer God. This God being has no form, but it is all there is. It has taken all forms. The whole story is from this God being, this high consciousness, this awareness which makes up the whole things visible and hearable and tasteable and touchable, but it is not there. It is the fantasy of the mind of God. And this God is just a name for the totality which is empty. The source of us is emptiness. And that's where we long for. We long so to this emptiness, this peaceful being that we are. And we lost it because we went in our own fantasy. We jumped in our story. And we thought it was real, and we started to defend our place and our beingness, and or some attacked the other, and some were, well, you know, the whole chaos of this story of the book of the world, the universe. But it's all in the mind of this one great, that's the difficulty to explain the name God, the word God. People run away from it, or they bow down and bend and lay flat to, well, that's better anyway, than to run away. But in fact, it is your own self inside. And the only thing that will help is try to remember that. Don't jump in the story every day you wake up. You are not even waking up, it all belongs to the story. The more you know about it, the more you realize it, the happier you feel, released of this, well, play on, but remember it's a play. It's the story of your own God inside, the great knowingness, the great being that you are, makes you up. Don't feel imprisoned in this little body form, in this little mind, this ego, personal, separated thoughts, mind stuff. Be great, be free, be what you are. Remember, remember, remember. This story of God plays in your mind. And when you are dead, it's to say the mind is dead. So there is no more story in this mind. Story stops. It ends when your mind ends. And then God is a real God again. It's no more a story about what happens and all things around, and trying to find God and trying to find yourself, and all that plays in the story. When your mind is dead, the story stops. So that means while we are still alive, we can kill our own mind. That's realizing all this is just story. That's the purpose, the goal of being born. To know who you are, where you come from, and where you are going to. This is all happening in the story of life. It is God's story. Your own true, real self is making this story. To know what it is storyless. It has no story. It has no mind. It has no content. It's an empty book. Then the heart is full of the self, the riches, the glory of being what you are. This God in you played the role of not knowing and realizing what it is that is aware of all this. This God being is recognizing this God being, this happening inside you. You feel it, and then the bliss of discovering remains eternal. The mind is gone, empty, and the heart, the awareness is full of its own glory, the happiness. It is already now here when you point your attention to it. Your mind is a tool. It's not necessary to make difficult journeys and to have difficulties and problems in life, because that's the story of the mind. And when you know it's a story, all passes just like that. The wave of the ocean comes up and goes down, and the happenings in the day come and disappear again, and you are the eternal witness, full of the glory of your own being. So the bliss is more. I hope you will feel it and realize it. I know you will. You will succeed because you give your mind to God. You offer your being to your own real self, and then you say, oh, it was only a play. Now I know who I am. It was not all those things around me. That was just in the mind. And the mind is now empty. I don't bother anymore with the thoughts coming up. That's the goal of giving your mind back to God, because it is His story. And God is pleased. He saw it was good. The seventh day of creation, He rested. And He saw it was good. This deep meaning of those words. He created all happenings. And the seventh day, it was done. And He overlooked and was satisfied, because He knew it was His own making, his fantasy, his game, His play. It was what He made up, and then He rested and was in peace, eternal, peaceful. Nothing will remain of the story. It's like the wave comes up and goes down in the ocean. It leaves no trace. And the bird flying in the sky. Can you see him? He comes and he goes, and he leaves no trace in the sky. That's the same with your story. It was written, it was lived through, and it went out. There's no trace. You leave no trace behind. Makes the ego afraid, huh? Oh, I want them to remember me. Even my own children will forget me. But they too are in your story. It's an immense empty field with nothing in it. If there was a light flash and it was past, there's no trace of this light flash. That's all what happened, a light flash. And in this light flash, the whole creation, the whole universe was for a single moment. And in that single moment, you lived your life. And you think it is worth hanging on and holding it. You hold on to fantasy and to pain and to struggle. Why? No, please. You feel the happiness when you relax. That's your truth. God doesn't cling to his own creation. He saw it was good and he rested. That's what you do. Overlook your life, leave it behind. The mind is free. You cannot have a mind is nothing. It's not a thing. It's not something you can point at, or it is a tool, but like a hammer, you see the tool and you put it away and it is still there, but the mind is another kind of tool. And we are so lost in it. It is this electricity working, and we are lost ours. We lose ourselves in it. Oh, can you imagine that you use your mind to be better than somebody else? Oh, this is so lost. We are so lost in something that doesn't exist. Mind doesn't really exist. So, how can you be lost in it? Use your intuition. Intuition, the soul knows what you are. That is the God inside. And he saw, oh, I made a good story. Now I leave the book behind. That's you. Leave it. Don't cling to memories. They will prepare you for another life, another body, another form. Leave it behind and see your bliss of emptiness, of freedom. Ah, the glory of freedom. You reached it. And you saw it was good. It's like the call of God calling us home. You can hear the echo of God's voice. That's what we are. We will drift on the sound of the echo of God's voice. We will drift home. So beautiful, those words. They make you humble. And they make you grateful. And they make you great. And they make you powerful. They make you truth. You are truth. God's truth. He played the play of calling, who am I? And you went in this story to search for this I. This is God's book. He found himself. He heard the echo of his call. You hear it in your heart, not with your ears. Go home. Go home. It is good. It is God. It's your own being. You hear your home call. You hear your voice inside calling you back. Go. Don't lose again your living be in the mind, in the story. It's over and out. You are over and out. The happiest thing that can happen to you. To be over and out, while you are still here or not, is not important. Enjoy your truth. A signature under the story. God. Finish. The book is out while you sit there and take your coffee. Yes, happy, happy, happy. So happy. Happy to be where you are. We were so long searching for ourselves and you find what you are. It's so happy. It's only happy because you were so long away from it. You left yourself and then you heard your call. Ah, that way I have to go that way. I will go that way. Be happy. Leave it all to God. He is the goodness inside you. He's the living being in you, what you are. Be good and be God. Be home.
Meines Herzens